Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Market, where every day we discuss all things to do with the modern market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, and how to make some or a lot of money or just save as much money as possible from the declining market at the moment, at least in crypto. Load up discussion today. We've got crypto markets trending lower. Bitcoin is at 107, Sol's down to 175, ETH's back at 3.7K. In more bad news, Balancer V2 pools have been exploited for what looks like more than $100 million potentially lost at the moment. The V3 pools allegedly are unaffected. We'll try to report on that to the best of our ability with whatever news is available as we try to piece that stuff together. Fortunately, we've got Brett with us today who'll be able to take us through what we do know about that so far. And then finally, over the weekend, CZ invested $2 million of his own money into Aster, went up. It's still up 8% from at around $1, but it did pump its highs to 120, but it's given up a lot of those gains. That's the kind of market we're in at the moment. We'll be discussing it in general in just a bit. With, of course, Legendary in the co-host seat. We've got Brett in the co-host seat too. We're ready to get into it, but just a reminder, friends, before we do, nothing that we say here is financial advice. This market is very, very risky. We do not know anything for sure, so please do proceed with caution and exercise your own judgment at all times. With that out of the way, Legendary, it is Monday. It is the 3rd of November now, start of November. Is this a new month for you? Is it Upvember, Downvember? Which how are you?
Moonvember.
Moonvember. Did you say?
We like that. Yeah. GM. Yeah, I don't know what's happening in November. I think I did a little update in the Modern Market Telegram, like summarizing some of my thoughts. And my main thing was that all my farming is going on. Like the stuff I do on Hyperliquid is going on. My yield farms for stables are going on. Nothing changed about that. Like all these airdrop plays are still on and still on my to-do list, or my continuous to-do list. But I find the market further down the risk curve more difficult to judge right now, especially when it comes to and we spoke a bit about that on the weekend before the show as well, on the robotic stuff, on the AI stuff as well. Super interesting market, and I think I spoke robotics quite a bit on the show as well, shared some of the things which I liked, and then the thing happened where some of the stuff is running on virtuals is running, especially after post by Andrew Kang, who made the point that they're really trying and they're like with us in all of the real life robotics things. But then you have stuff like Peak, which was the favorite robotic play of some people on the timeline, and is a German startup trying to do like more serious stuff around robotics, which is down 50% on the month. So all of that stuff is hard for me to judge as a like long-term play. And I did some more trading in the AI robotics trenches last week, but most of that is like in and out within 48 hours. I have a hard time to like formulate a long-term conviction bet in Web3 for robotics. I much rather prefer to do that on the stock market or via like private investments. But in terms of like trading tokens, it's really hard. And I think connecting to that Moritz made a good point on the timeline that the closer you get to the end of a cycle, and I don't know if the cycle is over or not, doesn't matter, but like the later it is in the cycle, let's put it like that, the more you actually want to, if you have a significant portfolio, like rotate a bit out of crypto, be in a diversified stock portfolio, for example. Like look at the S&P 500 since April, that thing is looking like a honeypot because it's just going up and up only. Whereas we are way more choppy on the BTC side of things. So there's that as well, that I can be super interested in the robotics and the AI stuff, but also think at the same time that maybe Web3 is not necessarily the most straightforward or easiest place to express that bullishness on this industry. But apart from that, for November specifically, which was your original question, I think there's going to be fun stuff to do and more opportunities to farm. But what the majors are going to do, no clue on that. We might see some more chopping and then maybe like a rally towards the end of the year, but we could also see none of that. So I don't have any idea what is to come for majors and price action, and it positions my portfolio in a way that it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I think people are definitely finding it difficult to figure out the the direction next. I definitely agree with you that, especially there's 2 points I want to make. One is definitely agree on not knowing how best to express a robot, wanting to be bullish on robotics, but not wanting to do that via crypto. And I think it's especially true because of how we so recently tried to express AI bets in crypto, and how realistically so many of those expressions were just, AI vapor, which we traded very, very aggressively, and we participated fully in that first virtual season. But I don't think that there were significant, meaningful AI things to come out of there, although the whole ecosystem is still very interesting. Tau is one, though, which I think has maybe solidified way harder. We do touch on it on the show. I know Funky's a big fan. And so we do touch on Tau a lot, and that has certainly solidified. I think if you were looking to express the AI bet better within crypto, then that would be the way to go about it. So yeah, definitely some difficulty in expressing it. One thing we just spoke privately before the show, Ledge, which I think might be helpful to articulate for everyone else, though, is this idea that you in this industry, when you kind of want to be before other people, right? Now it feels like the tide's turning, and everyone wants to say that it's over now. And I don't know if we were exactly ahead of everyone else, or we maybe went a bit bearish before other people. But I personally feel like it's time to just keep tabs, don't switch off. I'm a big fan of never switching off, though. So maybe we're not great, or maybe we are good examples in that respect, because we literally don't switch off. But I think it's important not to switch off, and important to just keep abreast of all the opportunities that are going to come. And as soon as other people start tapping out, that's usually when, I don't know, you can never predict this stuff, but I think it's a good opportunity to stay in the mix. Okay. Any reflections there, Ledge, before I throw it to Brett?
I see Brett smiling and chuckling along, so I'm curious what he's thinking.
Hey, we've been talking too much, Brett.
No, it's like, man, you guys got me checking my prices, like, and I had a flash of panic because we're still
because of the way we were talking.
Yeah, we're back on the trader arc, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck is going on with these two? Like, it sounds like the ass fell out of the entire market. So I go to Hyperliquid, and it had my old wallet, but my wallet was switched. So it showed my position, showed it in red, and then it disappeared from the screen. And I was like, fuck, I got liquidated because everything is dying around me. And then no, I just switched my wallet. I switched back my wallet. It's fine. Like, it's whatever. It's a 7% move, whatever it is for the thing that I'm in. Not a big deal. And then so, like, Jesus, guys, like, yeah, I don't know, like bare tones. I'm bare tones. Like, it's choppy right now, man. Everyone's eating their own head right now. And just like, fucking guys, we're fine. Everything's fine. But my heart is legitimately moving because, like, you guys are saying something, and then that, like, I was like, oh fuck, I got liquidated because I thought everything was dying.
No, I think I agree with you, Bert, but I think the majority of people on CT, from what I can tell, and from whenever I do like my little quote unquote surveys, how close is your portfolio to all-time high? Are you at all-time high? Like, my portfolio is within a couple % of all-time high. And I think that's probably the case for all three of us, I would argue, especially with you, Brett, being allocated outside of Web3 pretty strongly. But I just don't think this is mirroring the general sentiment on CT, where it always feels like, when's altcoin season coming? When are my coins running? So it's more like
no one has patience. I just saw a post that Bitcoin is the same price it was 6 months ago. Bro, 6 months of chop. Like, and everyone is chopping their heads off. Yeah. Unacceptable. Bro, it's just like everyone is trying to make every breakout the thing that sends us. We're all like in anticipation of like the thing that is going to catalyze everything. But it's like, I mean,
this I completely agree with. Absolutely zero patience across the board right now. No patience.
And I would like, I would be lying if I said I wasn't in that bucket, but it's just like, I guess maybe because I'm not, you know, swinging my entire portfolio on every single move to like try to make it or break it, like it doesn't affect me. So like, yeah, I see stuff going up, I'm like, okay, we're gonna trend up, I'm gonna do a long here and do whatever, but like, and then like it doesn't, right? Like that one position I was in, I'm also been both like 70% positive, 70% negative over the last week. It's ridiculous. Like I'm squarely in the middle of a range, and it's just like, if I was sitting here trying to make every single move live or die, then it's like, yeah, I would be losing money. And like that's what trading is. Like everyone loses on trading. Like the professional traders, like that's the Warren Buffett thing. It's like, don't try and like be the one that does all the trading, and because like, no, even the professionals, the people who do this their fucking career, lose more than half the time, right? Like he won the big bet that was like, I'm just gonna park my money here, and then I'm gonna beat every single hedge fund manager over the next, what was it, 5 years or something like that, and he beat them. Every single one of them chopped themselves up and died, right? Because they were trying to trade every single move. This is a very compressed version of that in a more volatile environment, which is crypto. And yeah, people are just like living and dying by the sword on every single one of these things. I don't know. It's just like,
that's why I said not long ago, I think it was last week, I said, well, I've been on the move a little bit in life in general. And so I haven't probably wouldn't have even dedicated that much time to it anyway, but I hadn't put on a trade for a while. I actually went short the market yesterday before the move down, and but just with a little bit, because I just wanted to be short again, basically. But more importantly, what was I going to say? More importantly, I said, you know, capturing the move from 108 to 116 is not going to make me, you know. And I feel like we're trying to manufacture the volatility, or people are chopping themselves up in that exact way. It's like the move from 108 to 116 is not going to make or break you. So there's kind of no need to participate, is kind of my view at the moment. Like the spot holdings are the spot holdings. And then you wait, I don't know, you just got to wait, but got to be patient. You don't need to participate even in that respect sometimes, I think. And I think that is also, sometimes it's, you know, you might even be waiting just in cash for some type of further direction.
Easy Eats made the comment like 4 or 5 days ago. He's like, man, he's like, everyone's trying to do these home run plays when like, if you can sit here and capture like 30% moves, 40% moves, and just like keep stacking them, like you're gonna fucking win. And like, it's kind of ironic.
It's not a home run market right now. It's not a home run market. Every now and again, the market goes like, right, let's give a whole set of home runs around, and you try and hit as many as you can. It's absolutely not that market right now.
Yeah, or you go 4 weeks in a row where it's a different ballpark you're playing in every single time. The whole, like, so you have to be willing to like close up shop and move to a new ballpark, and then get a home run over there, and then close up shop, move to a new ballpark, and a home run over there. That was the whole perps, privacy, whatever rotation we were doing for the last, month and a half. So, but like my response to his tweet when he said that, and like this is broadly, like I could have done it even this, like I mentioned here, like I've been up 30% up, or up 60%, down 60% over the course of the last week and a half. Bro, if you can get into these positions, like while everyone's chopping themselves up trying to be like a hero home run, get that P&L screenshot of the 250% or whatever. Like, bro, if you just enter a long that is like, or even a short, and you literally just like outlast everyone, you're probably going to be green 30 to 40% at some point. Like if you can just like book it, and then just like close down shop, and then size up a little bit, do it again. As long as you're like, you're not running 70% margin to where your liquidation is a 5% move in any direction. It's like, dude, keep it 40% outside of range. Like just chill, like literally just chill for a little bit. And this fucking market is so volatile and sideways for the most part. Like you could just set some stop losses 30 to 40% out, and or take profits and just fucking go away, and you'll probably hit it. Like, like
patience. Yeah. This is
a
patience.
Go for it, B. Sorry.
No, you go.
We normalize the hero trade so much in this industry. Like the one screenshot, the one like 0 to hero. There was this one guy who had I tried to find him, who had a Bitcoin savings plan going on for like a couple of years.
Oh, that was a great.
Yeah, putting in, I don't know, say $1,000 a month or a week, or I don't know the stats, but it doesn't really matter. He did it for years.
It was less. It was like $100 or something really low.
And hit a 7-figure portfolio, and like that posted well, but nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be like, oh, I'm gonna invest, wait for a decade, and then see where my portfolio is at. Like everyone wants this like one single hero trade to fix them, fix their portfolio, fix everything.
And final point on this before we get into the main stuff, because we want to get into it in a bit. But there are times, I think, in the market probabilistically where you are more likely to hit a hero trade. I don't like the elevation of it as such a big thing in the space, because it makes you feel like that's the only way for you to make money. But there are times, as Brett said, like where the balls being served up to you are very, very hittable, and just now is not the time, compared to when there have been times. So we take the market that's given to us, and that's actually important, right? You take the market that's given to you, not the one that you want it to be. And I think sometimes people are manufacturing it with leverage to try to create the conditions for a hero trade when it isn't there. But we take what is there for us, and we analyze and we get into it. As usual, we'll be doing it every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time. And now I think there will be no changes to the time zones, no matter where you are in the world, because we are now set for the winter. So that is good. Let's get into it. As usual, starting with the main price action, starting with Bitcoin, of course, down a couple of percent to $108,000. Got ETH down 4% to 3.7K. XRP is down 5% to $2.40. BNB is down almost 6% to just over $1,000. Sol's down 5% to $176. That one sounded particularly low to me. I know everything's kind of down the same amount, but Sol at 175 with all the good news sounded cheap, or maybe the most attractive price if you think things are going to correct. Hype is down a couple of percent to $41, so that's given up a lot of the gains from the last week or so as well. On the meme coin side of things, Doge is down 6%, Pepe is down 8%, Trump is up 4%, interestingly, up 25% on the week. President Trump making the market his own. Pengu is down 9%. Gosh, that one does not look at the moment like it's coming back, down 25% on the week. Okay. Bunk.
Spread that one out. How does look what the trend is for Pudge?
I've said this before, man, like these things, and it's not just Pengu, but Pengu's a great one to keep touching on because it's so prominent as a IP, and you just keep thinking this is one of the strongest things in the space, and therefore should be a good indicator of how people feel about the market. Because if Pengu does well, it must feel like the space is doing well in some way. And every time the majors move up, it will move up with them, but all the gains just keep getting given away. So if you look at that chart, that is not a healthy chart. A, I think for Pengu itself, but B, for like general sentiment, to see Pengu trading, seeming like it's giving back almost all of the gains now, right, from its lows. Still probably a good, what are we, a 2x away from the lows.
Yeah, just think about it psychologically. If you bought in the lows even now, like you're seeing this price, you're like, I'm scared now. I don't want to give it all back. You're just starting to dump. Like you're going to start cutting here because, like, look at that trend line. Like, yeah, bro, it's volume's decreasing, nothing but down for the last 3 months since July. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this is exactly how many airdrops are trading, and this is exactly why people are not making money in this space. They're like, something drops, plasma is the same. Like, plasma drops, it pumps higher, and then people buy it at, I don't know, $1.30, and it goes all the way down. Then they sell here, then it's going to recover and find its price floor. So basically, either you have the airdrop with Pengu and you dump that, and then that's the trade for you, or you didn't get the airdrop, or you didn't get the plasma airdrop, and you wait for this retracement. And then once you can see a bottom, then you can get in. And you don't even need, like, this is a 4x, like you can take 40, 50%, 100%, 200%, whatever you feel comfortable with profit wise. But the market is now clearly rewarding the more patient people. And it's not the ape the top of an airdrop type of market. It's like, wait for something popular, plasma. Everyone's like shitting on plasma on the timeline, when in reality it's at, what is it, 25 cents? What's XPL at? 27 cents.
That's a great one.
That's exactly the same chart you see with Pengu, and it's still up almost 5.5x for pre-sellers. At some point, they will do something, and it will recover. I don't know if this is the bottom or not, but there is rewards in there for patient people. And as Brett said, like if you capture you like 30-40% on an upswing of something that has dumped 80%, 67% in this case after its airdrop, you will be rewarded by doing that. But people are not really doing that. They want to ape in right now when it's hot, when it's trending, when it's going up. But nobody wants to buy, or not many people want to buy a chart that looks like that, or that look like the Pengu chart in April or whenever that low was. What was that? Yeah, April.
Yeah. The only thing I'd add to that though, Ledge, is sure. I think you know, at some point, for example, with Plasma specifically, they've obviously got Plasma One, the bank card that they're going to do at some point. So I'm sure that will be like seen as a good development at some point. But you kind of need the market to come with you as well, right? All of that upward,
Sure.
the upward movement for Pengu took place in an environment where everything was then moving as well, and that was one of the stronger things, and therefore that kind of carried it with it as well. So I think you kind of need to be patient in when the market is not with you, and then identify the things when they're down, that assuming the market comes back at a particular time, then that's the stuff that you like to enter into and think the market will take it with you. So it is pretty brutal out there though, if you look at that from the alt perspective. So let's get into that's what's going on there. Let's have a look at the rest of the roundup to get you up to speed. Make sure you know what the other bits of news are. To be honest, it is quieter in general. It's quieter in general. And so we had a few other bits of news. We're going to be talking today specifically about the crypto markets trending lower. Ledge is going to take us through a general assessment of the market. We've got the Balancer V2 pools getting exploited with more than potentially $100 million lost. The V3 pools
120 at last check.
So Brett's going to take us through that in a moment. CZ invested $2 million of his own money into Aster over the weekend. Some kind of strange disclosure tweets about that. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, and
pretty.
Dude, yeah, I don't want to
hold it. We'll get into it later. Ledge, anything we need to know on the NFT side before we just do the rest of the roundup?
Just keeping that quick, it's also not only brutal for altcoins, it's brutal for NFTs as well. Pudgies are down another 5%, under 6 ETH again, 5.9 ETH down 20% on the week. Moonbird's down 30% on the week, 1.78 ETH floor. Bored Apes are flat on the day, but down 9% on the week. Everything is down massively over the week, double digits for most of the major collections, or at least 8-9-ish%.
Gosh, that is pretty brutal. Also pretty brutal on stream, Sanjay saying bought Aster at $2.40. Gonna mute part of stream. Don't worry, Sanjay. I made money on Aster a few times over and over again. Then I longed it at like $2.20 and got liquidated and lost all the stuff that I made. So we all make mistakes when it comes to Aster. Web3 roundup to get you up to speed. Just a few other bits of news. Elizabeth Warren pushed back on CZ defamation claims via lawyer. Solana ETFs by Bitwise and Grayscale attracted around $200 million cumulative inflows in its first week. That's why I thought Solana news had been pretty good. So I don't know, 175 just sounded low for me at the moment for stuff that's going on Sol, but that's what the market is giving you at the moment. Bearachain validators have coordinated to halt Bearachain as core team performs emergency hard fork to address Balancer V2 related exploits.
Oh, okay.
Brett, you want to?
No, I mean, like, bro, halting the chains is pretty fucking big, but like going to like defend funds is like better, but still, Yeah, maybe there'll be, when you go into that section, I don't know if you'd seen that, but that seemed pretty significant. And then just a couple other bits. MegaETH enters allocation and refund phase. Took this lovely diagram from Brett's drawings. Allocation and refund phase of ICO from November the 5th. Participants can decide if they want to cancel or withdraw their allocation. So we look forward to finding out that. One of the bright spots that I think people are still looking forward to at the moment as the market is trending down. And then finally, neobank Tria will conduct their Community Legion sale today. And
we are delighted to say that today we are sponsored by Tria, the self-custodial neobank building the future of payments for both humans and AI. If you haven't heard about them yet, Tria unifies spend, trade, and earn across all chains, giving you one powerful platform to manage your assets securely without ever giving up control. With up to 6% cash back on your Tria Visa card, you're rewarded every time that you spend. It's backed by $12 million in pre-seed and strategic funding. Tria is creating the infrastructure layer for the next generation of on-chain finance, and we'll also share how you can get involved directly with Tria a bit later today in the show. So stay tuned for that. We've got a way for you to participate if you wish to in the Legion sale, which will be taking place a little bit later today. So shout out to our partners, Tria, today. Right, we've got more of those Tria details coming later in the show. Legend's going to take us through that. We've got the headlines coming up in a moment. But before we get there, boys, anything catching your attention before we get into the main stuff? Brett, I feel like you have been ready to go off on something, and I'm curious what it is.
Okay, so yeah, well, the CZ thing, right? I don't know if you guys saw the tweets that came with that, and like
I thought we were going to wait to my segment for it, but you want to go.
No. Okay, so yeah, if you're going to cover it, I'll wait for it. So I'll switch over to the Berachain one because like I have comments on the CZ thing. Okay, so the Berachain thing. So this balancer exploit, I guess. Yeah, man, I'm tackling both headlines, huh? But I didn't know the Berachain thing was actually going on.
Just okay. So like before we get to the main stuff, Brad, what do you want to talk about? Well, I want to talk about the main stuff.
Yeah, you had them as sub notes. There's just things that jumped out at me. You chose very good headlines this week or tonight. You know, maybe
there was no other news apart from all of this stuff.
Okay, how about this? I can comment on the MegaETH stuff. The other comment I'm getting is that everyone is thanking us now because everyone sold off their majors in order to enter into the pre-sale. So like, shit, I'm making money already, and I'm not even, I haven't even been given tokens. Sold off $100,000 worth of shit, and it actually saved me a 10%, 15% move. Yeah, Legendary is one of them.
That's one of the nice ways to frame it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so like just on that, we're obviously in that that arena right now. We're going through allocations. We plan to have that drop this week, targeting Wednesday. We actually feel pretty good already with the first couple iterations. It's actually, I think it looks healthy. We're going to do a few more manual reviews just to make sure nothing is overlooked or underlooked or looked. And then, once that's done, we enter the next phase and it starts to become a game of like withdraw game theory, where if anyone withdraws that has already been allocated, well, then it goes to everyone else in the pool. So everyone gets to increase their allocation from there.
You know what I think? So two things. One, you're still going. Actually, forget that part. I would like to see. You know how Polymarket had various things for MegaETH, and you actually mentioned last week that it was like the second most viewed page potentially on Polymarket
behind the mayoral election. Yeah,
behind the New York mayoral election, which is pretty crazy. I'd like to see one for how many people would withdraw, because I don't think people remember at the beginning you guys said, okay, it's an English auction, you can bid whenever you want. It's like everyone's going to bid at the top. Like, let's not be silly. People are going to bid at one bill. That's kind of what happened. I don't think people are going to withdraw this.
There were 36 that didn't. That was our tweet on Friday. Yeah, we sent back 350 grand to 36 people who bid below the stuff. So
are you able to say where they bid? Or is that private?
It was all across the spectrum. Some had them all the way down at 1 mil. Like they just threw in like a couple shekels at the very, very minimum, looking for a deal.
Just in case. Like I've got a strong social profile. Maybe they want me at 1 mil.
They were like, maybe it's a psyop. Yeah. Maybe the auction is a psyop.
If you guys had to guess, what do you think the allocation pool is going to look like size wise? How many people?
How many?
That'd be a better market.
How many people entered?
54,000.
Like 6K, 7K.
We need to give away $50 million. Cap is obviously 186K.
So you have to give $50 million away to around 50,000 people, roughly.
No, we could give it to whatever 186.
Yeah, but sure. But as in, so that's how many people want the allocation of 50.
Yes, correct.
50 mil.
Yeah.
So if you give the min allo was 2.6K, if you give that to 5K people, that means you've given away 13 million and you have 36 mil to go. There will be a lot of people top bidding if you pick.
I feel like it'd be a fun market because you can do some of this stuff, right? You have a range that is like if you give 186 to across 50 million, that's a number. That's like the minimum, and then 2.6K to across 50 million. That's the maximum we can give out.
Yeah, if you give 100 people the full allo, that's 18 mil. 30 mil, that's 31. Leaves you like with 20 mil to play around. Like maybe 6 to 7K people. 6,000 to 7,000.
Why are you going 6 to 7K though, Ledge? You just think 10% of the total number is the right amount, or you just think 6 to 7K is a nice number?
Like I would think that a couple thousand people will get the min allo, right? From the charts that they posted.
If we gave the max to across the 50 million, it's 270 people roughly. That's the minimum we have to have in.
Yeah, so I think 6 to 7,000 people will get some sort of mega tokens.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
20,000 upper bound.
I've just got that image in my head of the U shape, which is where it was like you want to give either loads to people or a small amount to people, and then people that are kind of in between will get nothing. So I agree with the concept that loads and loads of people will get nothing. And so could it be 10%? Yeah, maybe 10 to 20% actually get something out of the 50K people. I don't know. I personally, as with all either airdrop or allocation related things, it's fun to play these games sometimes, but the way that I've always done well in general is by like, look, the team does the team's thing, and I'm just gonna bid the right amount that I think is right for me. So interesting. I'm assuming you will comment no further, Brett, but I'm sure we'll find out in a couple of days.
Yeah, the fact that you guys are doing this, I'm already sending messages to both Kalshi and Polymarket.
Nice. I was into to get one of these things. Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. But the thing, what was the market I said I wanted to see? Oh, the withdrawals.
Oh yeah, I think people will withdraw because they don't read, and they're like, if you have a partial allocation and you withdraw, you basically did withdraw everything, right? And people probably won't read that and will mess up, and then you will have people who are like, oh, the market is tanking, let me have my money back. I don't want mega tokens anymore. And then what I've also been thinking, people will look at the pre-markets. Like this was some game theory. If you have big enough mega exposure, or you have, a Sybil cluster that you got through, or you have a couple whale bodies that you like, team up together, wouldn't you have an interest during the withdrawal period to basically try to nuke the pre-market on Hyperliquid to scare people out of the allocation and be like, oh, it's only a 2 bill, it's only a 2.5 bill, whatever. Let me maybe withdraw because this thing is going down. Like that would be some interesting game theory if we'll see some manipulation of the pre-market price on Hyperliquid during the withdrawals.
I have a question for you guys, or whoever wants to speculate on this. For some reason, instinctively, I prefer to speculate on market participants rather than teams. So when you're just talking about that pre-market, Brad, and you're framing it like, oh, I don't personally like guessing what you guys are going to do. Like, how many people are you going to pick? For some reason, that's not
figure out how people are going to behave to a mechanic.
Yeah, like I don't know. In a way, maybe it's actually the same thing. Maybe this is me just creating some arbitrary rule in my own head. But I've always found it's impossible to guess what teams do. But I find it far easier to bet or speculate on what people will do. So like speculating on how you structure the thing is not interesting to me. But speculating on like, are people going to withdraw based on whatever you do? That is more like, I don't know. I feel like I have a better read on that stuff once I have the information that you have already decided. So I don't know, just talking out loud here, thinking through the prediction market stuff and how I think about things sometimes. But look, we have only got 18 minutes left of the show. We've got 3 segments to do, which are important. And we're going to give you that Tria information that you need today for the Legion sale if you want to participate. So maybe just the general market stuff. I know we talked general markets at the top of the show, Ledge, but everything's trending down. what are some headlines we need to know here? How are you feeling about the market? What should we communicate here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at a couple different asset classes, starting with equities, starting with stocks first. Pre-markets look excellent. Nasdaq is up 60 bips on the pre-market. S&P is up 30 bips. Is trading at S&P, that is S&P futures at 6,893 points. So all of that looks pretty good. S&P had an excellent week. Crypto is the thing that is choppy, which exactly we discussed at the beginning of the show. Now, if you look at some more crypto-specific data, you mentioned the Solana ETFs. Let's also take a look at the Bitcoin ETFs to see how last week played out. And the last 3 days, we've seen 190, 488, and 470 mil in outflows for the Bitcoin spot ETFs. The week did start on a more bullish note, however, because Monday and Tuesday saw 149 and 22 mil in inflows, net inflows respectively. But adding all of that up together, obviously, still means that we are looking at a week with net outflows. And moving over to Polymarket because it's a new month, it's a fresh month, to see the market for what price will Bitcoin hit in November, which already has 2.8 mil in volume, just to see what the majority is thinking. The biggest clusters here are 62% think, we're going to see 115K for BTC, but this is going down, already did go down 16%. 78%, that's the biggest cluster by far, think we're going to see 105K for BTC. Unsurprisingly, we're very close to that. And around half the market is thinking that we're going to see 48%. Then we're going to see $100,000 for BTC or below, and still 22% think we're going to go as low as 95K, whereas on the upper bound, only 19% think we're going to go to 125,000. So it's a bit more to the bearish side at the moment for Bitcoin on Polymarket. And then the last thing I also want to check in, because we haven't looked at that in a while, is what is gold doing? What is silver doing? Obviously, gold did cool off from its highs, where it peaked at almost 4.4K, and is at $4,008 now. It's basically up 14 bips on the day, and up 1% over the last 30 days, but definitely has cooled off a bit. And silver is painting a very similar picture at $48.75. You are muted.
Are you still holding your gold, or did you rotate? You rotated out in Bitcoin, or you?
I sold almost all of my on-chain. I have still my physical gold. That's a long-term hold, but almost all of my, like 90% of my on-chain gold, I did sell into stables, and I used those stables for MegaETH partially, and others I'm just holding in my wallet.
You went into Bitcoin first though, and then you sold that for stables, no?
Exactly. Yeah, it was gold, BTC, stables.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's okay. So that's interesting. Nothing more to say on the market, to be honest. I think we kind of went through that at the beginning quite extensively. Patience period. / I don't know. I'm still feeling content with holding very significant amount of stables, gold, majors only, Bitcoin and stuff, and maybe just being a bit short the market, to be honest, at the moment, but very, very light touch, because I don't like betting short hugely. Brad, let's get to the second headline today. This is pretty big. This is big news. I think we're still trying to figure out all of the details. We don't know all these things 100% perfectly. It's a work in progress, so please do appreciate that. A balancer, what appears to be hacked for potentially more than $100 million. What do we need to know here? Is there anything that we need to do? Any precautions that we can take? What do we need to know?
Yeah, so you covered the headline. So it's Balancer, which is a AMM that has been around for a very long time, DeFi protocol, and over 10 years. And some of its V2 contracts, or I'm sorry, I'm going back. They're switching back and forth on V2 versus V3 and which ones are affected. I want to say this correctly because it's obviously very, very risky. I
think V2 is exploited, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It is V2. Okay. So they've been around for 10 years. V2 is an older, obviously, version of Balancer, and someone has come in and exploited it this morning of over $100 million. And the exploit itself was actually something that is just what was it specifically? It was user or managed user balance has a faulty access check, which just means that like with these smart contracts, you have like rights for certain people to do certain things. Obviously, that makes sense. Admins can do certain things, and a lot of these exploits are typically just finding logic gaps in the actual code itself that says like, hey, only this person is supposed to do this thing at this point in time. Usually it's like the user is only allowed to withdraw their funds during this action. But if you combine tricks, sometimes you can have other people that get access to the same rights as someone else. And that is effectively what happened here. This person, this hacker, found this logic gap inside of the V2 contracts and went into Ethereum and pulled out something like $120 million at this point out of the Balancer pool, and then rapidly started going to other chains to do the same thing. So, because like what happens is in this space, as you know, a lot of places are forks of other places. So you would have apps that are launched on, say, Optimism that is actually Balancer code underneath, right? So Balancer is open source code. They fork it, they take it to Optimism. They say, hey, this is now Ralancer, right? They can change the name. They can deploy the same shit. That means that's the exact same code and the exact same exploit is possible there. And that's why you're also seeing things on like Barachain, which now I'm learning as of this morning that the validators colluded to halt the chain so that they can I don't know what you said they were doing. They were actually removing funds from there.
They're having to do a hard fork.
So maybe they're hard forking.
It's Bex Barachain, which is a Balancer V2 fork.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, like if they're forking, I don't know what they're actually implementing there to actually change it, whether they're freezing the funds or just changing the actual contract code itself with a fix. But either way, people are now rushing to obviously get out of Balancer because you don't know how widespread the exploit is. You don't know if it affects only the V2 pools, and that like they just have not discovered the V3 stuff. So I saw now the TVL or the volume is like 3x what it normally is on any given day because funds are going all over the place. And the TVL has dropped to 400 million from like 800 million. So like people are getting out of it. I saw another post from that Look On Chain that said someone woke up from 3 years of dormant, like basically DeFi farming, to just go take all of his funds out of the pools. So like people are waking up to that. And they took like 600 million, or not 600 million. They took like 6.5 million just themselves out. So if you were someone that is interacting with Balancer, it is probably safer to just like go and get your shit off the DEX itself or any fork of it. DeFi Llama has a good list of code forks that you can actually identify the different applications across chains that have forked the initial underlying code, so you can identify if one of those protocols is actually yours or something that you're interacting with on another chain. But yeah, it's not great to see because like this thing's been out there for 10 years, right? So like this is not something
one of the more
that
established protocols.
Yeah, and that's just like that's the game right now.
Okay, so follow-on question more for anyone right now, as people are really querying the utility. This is the question on people's minds as people are really querying the utility of staying fully invested in crypto specifically as other parts of the market continue to move higher, where we keep dropping around and stalling. It's just like another reminder of one of the reasons why you would want to not be in crypto, because the question is the smart contract risk that you're taking on, are you being properly compensated for that? Like, sure, sometimes you can earn 12% here instead of 7% in the real world. And you think, okay, maybe it's better because that 5%, I'm taking this smart contract risk. This is one of the more established protocols. And has it made you think otherwise at all, given that we're in this specific moment in time where that general question is happening at the moment? What are your thoughts there, both of you?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. Like, imagine that whale that woke up with the $6.5 million. They are farming that position for 3 years. Yeah, if you were making 10% year over year, 15%, like you were saying, year over year, in a safe position, they're doing all the right things. They're like not trading, they're not chopping themselves, and all of a sudden they go to zero with the 6 million because it gets exploited. Whew, like that's a tough pill to swallow. Does it scare me as like a like, is it going to stop me from doing stuff? No, like I'm a participant chain, but it's also like I'm also not 100% exposed to this space, so like it's easy for me to say that, right? Like you've
already taken the appropriate steps to de-risk that thing, right? You've already de-risked smart contract risk by not having all of your money in smart contracts. So I guess in a way you've already pre-answered that question.
Yeah, and honestly, like the scary thing, as like the thought that enters my head is that I keep getting this thought of like, don't participate too much is like the answer to all of this stuff, right? Yeah, just like buy the coins, hold the coins. Like I don't want to hold on to anything too long. I don't want to get too embedded in any ecosystem. I want to be like I've kind of been saying for the last few months, I want to be like one step away from the door. Whenever I need to, I can just click a button and go directly from any token to USDC and get the fuck out if I want to. And that includes pooling positions, DeFi stuff, all that stuff. But that's also just never been my jam. So I know some people love that. They like managing that stuff. So different strokes.
A final point from me on it is more of a holistic one. Obviously, you could never predict these things, but I remember before the 1010 crash, I think I'd been talking about just like de-risking in general and being cognizant that you can't predict things specifically, but you can see when the market is taking more risk itself, or you can see like strain in the market, or you can see people reaching for things. This goes, and look, I'm not a technical person, I don't know the details here, but one of the things me and Ledge have been talking about as that happened and like not knowing what the fallout was going to be was things like, okay, what do we do with all of these smart contracts that we are participating in? And the very reasonable thing to say is like, look, I think people are trying to push code faster at this time of the market because it's getting later. People are reaching to try to push products sooner, TGEs faster, new versions of products sooner in order to try to capitalize on whatever is left in the market to the extent that they think there's anything left. And therefore, I think there is a heightened risk as we go into the next few months, and therefore you probably want to reduce the number of pools that you're kind of throwing the money around just as the time as they're all expanding, right? Everyone wants your capital now. Everyone's running an airdrop farm. Everyone wants it. And that's exactly the time when I think you're most exposed, because you're like, have you really done the research on the founders, and are they as reputable and as strong builders as comparing it with the Aave contract that you can go into, which is slightly more de-risked. So again, I think it's a time in the market thing. You just want to keep that in mind.
The one last thing, there's an interesting push-pull here, like that, because the reason this exploit could even take place is because of some of the underlying principles of crypto in the space. Whatever, they want everything to be open source. They want everything to be totally exposed to everyone. So had this team gone the route of like, say, a Hyperliquid is more centralized, everyone floods it, the code's private, you can't see, like, you can't understand what's going on under the hood, bro, what's happening. It's like the benefits of some of that is that like you don't have 100% of the code exposed for 10 years for people who are with malicious intent to come in and like find this 0 day 10 years after it's implemented to like nuke the entire contract and all of its associated infrastructure. So it's like, yeah, it's just like funny to see that push pull come back and forth. Same thing that like it did with the Blast days, right? When Blast stopped the Munchables hackers from running off and stuff, where you had a single actor that could stop the chain and say, look, bro, you're not taking off. You're not running off with this $50 million. Everyone loved it at that point in time. And they're probably loving Hyperliquid's construction right now because Hyperliquid has private code. And like, well, you don't have to worry about it. Same thing with Solana. Solana doesn't have well, now it's a little different with Orb, but like doesn't have a lot of public contracts the same way that Ethereum does and EVM does. So it's less susceptible to stuff like this.
Yeah, fair points. Just checking. I think we just lost. Apologies for losing audio on the spaces if you're sitting around there. Thanks for shouting us out. I think you're all back now, all good. So,
phone did randomly restart, but we are back on
all
spaces.
Good.
One final
good
comment.
Stuff.
One final comment, real quick, is it is a default expectation that these things are happening. And if you look at that specifically, there was a poly market on that. Another crypto hack over 100 mil in 2025. And like throughout August, September, like that was not even worth betting on that because 47%, 50% of the market thought, yeah, sure, we have 3 months left in the year. There's a 50% chance we're going to see another 100 mil hack happening. So it is kind of a baseline expectation to see these.
Can you not just check who bet on that first in size, and then you can find your hacker? Like seriously, who bet on that first? Who moved that market first? Okay. Good stuff. We'll keep on top of it. And as you said, just stay safe, guys. We had, hopefully, fingers crossed, made a bunch of money, improved your positions over the last multiple years. We don't want to give it back at this stage of the market, wherever that we are precisely. So we've got one more headline to do today. Just before that, Ledge, let's get into our partner segment with Tria. They are doing a Legion sale today, which we're happy to support them on. What's the information we need to know here, and what do the audience need to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Tria is a self-custodial neobank that allows you to spend in over 150 countries using more than 1,000 tokens on your Tria Visa card, while earning up to 6% cash back every time you spend, which is something I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. And behind the scenes, Tria runs its own tech called BestPath. It is a permissionless Pathfinder marketplace where they have micro markets to move your money faster, cheaper, and more securely across chains, already powering payments for 20 plus protocols and handling settlements for trading and transfers. And even though Tria is still in closed beta, growth has been massive so far. That is 30,000 users, with over 75% of them being daily active, 40 mil in BestPath transactions, 1.5 mil in revenue, and 50 mil annual recurring revenue so far. This is in just 3 months. And the next milestone is the Legion sale, as you said, where the community can participate in the token pre-sale. The Legion sale is already live. There's 2 tiers available for that. The first one at 100 mil FTV with 30% unlocked TG. Second one at 200 mil FTV with 60% unlocked TG. Both of them do share a 2-month cliff and 6-month vesting for the rest of the allocation. And talking about allocations are guaranteed for Tria cardholders. Just make sure to use your Tria username, which is linked to your account before you join, or when you fill out the sales form or the Google form for that. As I said, the sale is already live. We did secure a allocation specifically for the modern market community. And if you want to access that, you can do that by first securing yourself a Tria card with our first link below, and then second, filling out the Tria Modern Market Google form at the second link below. I'm going to post these links in a second in the comments to the spaces. We'll also have them included with the uploads on Spotify, Apple Music, and then later on YouTube as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And we'll put them in the Telegram as well if you want to catch it there. It's pretty hard to get some of this access, right? The last Legion sale was incredibly oversubscribed. So I'm pretty happy we managed to get some carve out for people who sign up with our link and fill out the form. So I think crucially, if you want to participate, it's both of those things we need to do. Got a bespoke modern market form for you to fill out if you want to guarantee your allocation and if you want to participate. So shout out to Tria for partnering with us today and giving us that opportunity. And we will share those links in the various places again later today. Final headline for the day, just in the last couple of minutes. Brad was wanting to get to this earlier, had to hold him back. This is the news that CZ, founder of Binance, invested his own money into Aster over yesterday. Actually, this was a tweet going out yesterday. He tweeted this. He said, "Full disclosure, I just bought some Aster today using my own money on Binance. I'm not a trader. I buy and hold." And then he followed that up with a second tweet this morning saying, I don't know if you guys saw this one, saw quite a bit of over-interpretation for my disclosure yesterday. In the future, should I disclose or not disclose? And 71% of the vote said that he should disclose his buys, probably because they want to buy straight after and capture some of the upside. 29% said he should be quiet and just buy in silence and do not say anything. So that's the situation. In terms of the price, what it did, Aster was sub $1 at the time. It went as high as just over $1.20 something, and has more or less given up the gains. You know, the rest of the market is red today, and so it's more or less given up those gains back to $1 now. And I think that one of the concerns in general, when you're looking around the market at the moment, is, okay, if you can use your power as a powerful person in this space to pump a token or an asset for a little bit, and every time you try to do it again, it's going to be less and less powerful because the market does not have an infinite bid. Once it sees that there is no infinite bid, and every time you do it, it might go higher, but it doesn't sustain. People get burned, and now I think we're seeing that happen more. That's my take, guys. But Brett, I know you were talking about this before. I want to hear from you and then Ledge before we close out today.
Yeah, I mean, my basic point was like CZ. I was giving him grace with just like, maybe it's just like the simple old uncle doing the thing. But bro, you've been in this space too long that like you know, as the largest account, if you tweet something and then go, OMG, I was wanting to buy more at a lower price, like guy, like, so now we have like, oh, how did DEXs work? And then now it's like, oh, I didn't know if I tweeted that it would pump the price. I wish I could buy more. Like, brother, it's like
he's a builder, Brad. He's a builder. He doesn't trade on DEXs.
Yeah. He's starting to erode my grace into now. I'm thinking he's just like he's fucking he's a wolf. He's a wolf. He's just like he's over the top wolf now.
Legendary, what do you think?
I'm highly entertained by this because if we think back to Token 2049, people were saying on the timeline, this time it's different. I'm hearing serious chatter coming out of Asia that CZ is really going to post about this so often, is really going to pump that. And the 1 month chart is down 50% with this like small, tiny pump on his post. And then, as you said, just has given that back to the market already. Like, I like how every time we have something like this happening, we find a reason to formulate a thesis or an argument on the timeline why it will be different this time, while they heard someone say that he's going to post that now, every day. And CZ doesn't post tokens. When he posts a token, it means something. It means he's going to send that to infinity. I just love our timeline for that.
Yeah, and I guess part of that point is like, it's literally not possible for them to send it to infinity. Like it's actually not possible unless, in fact, it's entirely impossible. We've seen it in a way with Elon and Doge, right? There was a period of time when he could do something Doge related and it would just keep sending in. Then one day it just stops working as much as it did before because it doesn't work in the same way. So, I mean, I flitted between two things. I think definitely initially, if you caught Aster early, it was a great trade, obviously. And capturing that moment where CZ was like just getting active, there was talks of him being pardoned, he's coming out of jail. Like when there was like a few bits of momentum all in one go, I thought it was a great one to play in some way. But the broader thing for me was like, look, if this battle is taking place with Hyperliquid, if it's like CZ v Jeff for a little bit, my take then was just like, I need to get out of the way. Because remember, I was referencing CZ versus SBF, Binance versus FTX, like back in 2021. That did not end well for the whole industry. And I would still say, when we're in this kind of downtrend, even if we're just chopping around for a bit, we're certainly not guaranteed to be out of it. And if we don't get out of it, I think we can look back to part of these moments, the BNB season again, the CZ increasing intervention in the market again, to capitalizing on that stage of the market as another indicator of just where we are at the moment. So I kind of like the idea. Maybe this will be something I learn again for in the future, like when two specific big people are going at it in a kind of public way. Hyperliquid did come out and kind of make their own comments. Sometimes you just need to get out of the way. Like, I don't think anyone really won. Well, Aster's clearly down a lot. Hyperliquid is no higher, although I think it's doing very well still. But the market in general is not allowing it to go higher. So when you're just trying to figure that stuff out in such a high stress environment, getting out of the way of the crossfire was the way I put it at the time. So that was one of my learnings. I think I'll take that with me. Ledge, final take before we...
I think that's an excellent reminder that you mentioned Elon and Doge. Like, ultimately, imagine a chart. Y-axis, you have influence. X-axis, you have time. And like, the higher influence is, the higher you can sustain a pump of something. And basically on top of that chart sits Elon, who was able to pump Doge and keep that like relevant for a couple of months. And arguably everyone on X has less influence than Elon. And you will have CZ somewhere who can sustain the pump on Aster for like maybe a couple of weeks or so. And then everyone like does less and less and less than that. And I feel like this is exactly important to understand. Like if you follow someone into something on the hypothesis that CZ is going to pump, that Elon's going to pump that, like be aware of how long Elon was able to sustain Doge momentum, and also be aware that everyone else won't be able to sustain it for that long period of time, and just rotate out of that earlier.
Indeed, as Rizwan says in the comments, times were different that time. Times were different. Always be aware. Right, look, guys, that was a good show. Good discussion, good general discussion. Just a reminder, we do this every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time, live on X video, YouTube, and you can catch us on Apple and Spotify podcasts as well. Shout out again to our partner today, Tria. We'll be dropping all the relevant links for you to be able to participate in the Legion sale. If you wish to, we'll drop it on Twitter underneath the spaces. It'll be in the YouTube and the Spotify links too, and it'll be in Telegram later as well to get your guaranteed allocation. Thank you to Legendary and Bread for co-hosting with me as always. We hope you enjoyed the show today. We'll be back again, same time, same place tomorrow, hopefully with a big product upgrade. I will say no more. Let's see if we can ship it. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.